Now that you enjoyed that quick slideshow, hopefully it looked good. I obviously can't see it myself. I'll see it during the editing process. I would like to talk about just a few apps right now. First of all, they announced a brand new app called iBooks. iBooks. Doesn't that name sound familiar? Yes, Apple killed the iBook years ago when they announced the Intel transition with the MacBook, which I have no problem with. I've always liked the name iBook, but honestly, the name MacBook has grown on me just as much. It's like I said, it's just a name. So they're bringing back the name iBook, but with an S on the end. And yes, as you guessed it, it's an ebook reader. Bam! That's Amazon dying right there. Amazon just died on the floor. Yes, I'm very enthusiastic. I'm very passionate about this kind of stuff. But seriously, guys, Amazon not Amazon, I'm sorry, the Kindle just died. I have never had anything against the Kindle really, but personally, I think the Kindle is overpriced. I think it's too restricted. Yes, it's an ebook reader, and some users don't want it for email and web surfing. And yes, the Kindle has this special display where it uses ink, where it looks like a book page, and the battery lasts forever, which I think is very impressive. But it's never been appealing enough to me. Well, for one, I'm not a big book reader, and two, I just don't see myself needing a Kindle. However, this all changes right here. Apple jumped into the ebook market and probably shot everyone else in the face. Apple tends to do that. They come out with their own product and they do everything right. Look at the iPhone. Their first phone ever, and they succeeded big time. Yes, like I said, I'm very enthusiastic. Stick with me here. The iPhone came out of nowhere, wiped everyone down the hill, I guess, if you want to use that kind of metaphor, and they just kept rolling while Apple's at the top of the hill, and be like, yeah, screw you, we took over. However, that's not a bad thing to the other companies, because Apple encouraged the other companies, like, well, look at Palm and the Pre. I don't really think the Pre or the Pixie took off, but Palm as a company is kind of dead, and the Palm Pre is their last hope. Look at the Droid. Look at, obviously, the Nexus 1. All these phones wouldn't be here today if it weren't for Apple and the iPhone. Yes, they would have come along eventually, but Apple finally gave everyone the big push that they needed and said, come on guys, make better products. A year or two ago, during a Q&A session, I believe, after a keynote, somebody asked Jobs if Apple was going to jump into the ebook market, and Steve Jobs said, and I semi-quote because I'm not sure of the exact wording, he said, people don't like to read anymore. Well, he also said that people do not want to watch videos on a small screen. Hello. One of the most successful, actually two of the most successful products ever. Jobs tends to do that. Steve kind of says, oh, people don't want this, but then they come out of nowhere and they take over. I just think it's funny and smart at the same time. Maybe it's a strategy where they're saying, oh, people don't want to read, so the other companies don't try as hard. Or that's just how Jobs is. Maybe Jobs changed his mind in the past year. Although I highly doubt that, because this iPad has easily been in development for probably at least 5 years now. I guarantee you the iPad has been in development since before the iPhone was even born. The iPad is practically the iPhone technology. Well, it is the iPhone technology. It's running the iPhone OS, but modified. So anyway, I'm really rambling here. Let me get on to the next app. Okay, so basically, let me just say iBooks is a huge deal. This will encourage a lot of people to get into the iPad simply for the reading aspect and the fact that you can check your email, browse the web. Gotta say, I'm very disappointed. Well, I'm mildly disappointed that the iPad does not support multitasking as far as I can tell. It's not really a huge deal though, because it's not a multitasking product, guys. If you want multitasking, get a notebook, get a MacBook Pro, get something built for it. Also, I should say that the iPad, I almost said iBook, the iPad does run its own processor built by Apple. I believe it's called the Apple A4. That's kind of interesting that they're not using Intel's chip. So I just thought that was neat. Next up is Calendar. Okay, also keep in mind I have not seen all these apps in action too much. I've just seen screenshots on Engadget and via Twit Live with Leo Laporte and the crew. Great coverage, by the way, if you guys happen to see this video. Calendar looks beautiful. It makes iCal on the iPhone and the Mac look horrible. Not horrible, but it's kind of like, okay, why don't you give us that nice visual interface now? Next up is photos. Of course, it's just like the photo app on here, but much better looking. Very nice transitions. Very, very smooth, I guess is the right word. YouTube looks amazing. The interface is built for with the iPad in mind. Contacts. I've never thought a contacts app could look so amazing. Contacts on the iPhone is literally just scrolling. On the iPad, it actually looks like a contacts book. You can turn pages. You can look. It looks amazing. And again, such a simple app can look beautiful. Spotlight, as expected, has a Spotlight app. I don't know if you scroll this way to go to search Spotlight like you do with the iPhone, but it works exactly like this. So pretty basic stuff there. And maps, of course, it has Street View. A nice huge map on a 9.7-inch screen is going to look amazing. When is the iPad coming out? 60 days, they said. They're shipping within 60 days or maybe 60 to 90 days. I heard 60 days. Am I buying one? As mentioned earlier, yes, I'm buying the $599 model. 32 gigabytes is more than enough storage. I do not need 3G. Also, I should mention, the iPad runs most... I said iPad, right? Yeah. The iPad runs most iPhone and iPod Touch apps, which is awesome. You can either run it in windowed mode, or you can run it full screen, which doubles the pixels, I believe, so it'll still look pretty good. But they're also asking developers to create brand new apps specifically built for the iPad. Now, this is where the iPad is going to explode overnight. Imagine the possibilities opened up with the iPad. Imagine the amazing apps that we can use soon, specifically built with the iPad in mind. Imagine a full version of Photoshop Mobile. I currently have Photoshop Mobile on my iPhone. It's a very basic app. You can't really do much. It doesn't have support for layers or masks or anything like that. But imagine with the real estate of a 9.7-inch screen, and let's face it, Photoshop Mobile on here, like I said, is very basic, and you really can't do much with your finger with this size of a screen. But imagine it's blown up like this. Your finger is suddenly not that big, so you can get much more precise. And who knows, maybe Adobe will release a special stylus that interacts with this, but it obviously thinks it's your finger. So it's kind of like a real tablet built for Photoshop or Illustrator or InDesign, whatever you prefer to use. Also, I should mention that I am a graphic designer, web designer, video editor. I'm into all kinds of interests / hobbies like that. So the iPad appeals to me a lot more than it might to other people. And like I said, I'm a big picture kind of person, so to me, the iPad looks like it's the ultimate godsend for creatives like myself. I cannot wait to see what Adobe does with these new apps. I cannot wait to see what every other developer does. Imagine the apps we're going to get to use on this thing. I cannot say that enough. This is going to be an amazing product. The future starts now. Well, the future starts in 60 days. And also, keep in mind, this is just a first generation of the iPad, guys. The iPad second generation will be even better. It'll most likely include a video camera, which I'm very disappointed that it does not, because I was hoping it does. I don't know why they didn't include one, but I thought like Skyping on that thing or iChatting on the iPad, I think that would be beautiful. Like just to see your friend or your family member's face right there, I think that'd be pretty cool. And of course, I should mention that the iPad fully works with iTunes, and all of your media, movies and TV shows will look amazing on this thing. And I think I've said enough. I really rambled on. I'm going to have a future video out soon where I've asked my Twitter followers at twitter.com/thecreativeone, where they asked me questions, and I'll answer them in my next video regarding the iPad. So that should be a fun edit. And I guess that's basically it. I really hope I didn't miss anything. I'm sorry if I rambled too much, but this is a big deal, and this is a brand new product with a brand new future and practically a brand new market. The fact that the iPad is coming out is going to make the other companies rethink their strategies. We're going to see a lot of new products, just like what the iPhone did for the mobile phone market. The iPad could very well do for the tablet market. So finally, we have tablets. And also, do not forget, tablets are nothing new. They've been around since 2001, I believe. So allow Apple to enter that market and change things up. So I feel like I've said the same thing over and over again, and so I think I've said enough. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/thecreativeone, and add me on Facebook if you want, facebook.com/DavidDeFranco. And as always, check out the social blog at thecreativeone.tv. And if you want to check out the forums as well, forumbytes.com. That's BYTES, like bits and bytes. Forumbytes.com. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in my next video. And I look very forward to buying the iPad very soon and sharing my experience with you all.